Well, this is Baruch Flashman here with the Tikun Elevator Kollel, and I learned with Chavrusa earlier, but I forgot to record it. So what we're going to do is we're over here in the SIFRA, which is called the SIFRA Tzniuta, and we're going into which means the book of hiddennesses. And so we're really getting deeply into the reality of how the light of God comes into our world. And we're on the beard of Erich Anpin. And this is the Tikuna Shesizah, the sixth Tikun. I'm going to flip back to the back. I think this is the place. Let me see if I can get there, how this works out. And here in the Idra Rabbah itself are the words that we want to talk about. And it says Shesizah, that's the sixth Tikun of the beard. Now we've been through this in our Shiurim on the Idra Rabbah and the Idra Zuta, talking about the beard because it is the beard of Erich Anpin which actually is the location of the flow that ultimately reaches to us, and how it works, the 13 different stages of this beard, and how they work to be able to condense or limit the light of God, which is a light of nothing, but most wonderful nothing. Is it possible to say that? The most perfect nothing that we all seek. So let's come over here after that brilliant introduction, and let's see over here what the Shesizah is, the word for the Shesizah. The sixth Tikun, Chavi Takruv de Debusna, covers over a place. It's a place called the Takruv de Debusma, as we're going to see. The Resha de La'ela, to the head that's up above. So exactly what it's talking about, not so easy to understand. So let's go over here and let's see what we seem to think are the problems. What are the problems that we have here? So he says, Tikuna Shesizah, I want to read here. Let me see if there's light on this. Can go on there. Would help me a little bit. Tikuna Shesizah, kindach abasifra tzniuta kan. Kitzer ma'od b'sedet smichas sa'aros tikun l'shishi is very, very brief in what he said about it. It was a very short sentence. He said, V'omar rak beis milos. I think he means to say there are two words here that we need to focus on. What are those words? Those words are the Resha de La'ela, that it reaches until the head, or which we've seen over before. The Resha means, a lot of times it means beginning. The La'ela that comes up above. So he to that is up above, to what is up above. So that is the beginning that is up above, is going to that place. It's talking about, translate this, look at the beard of a man. With a place where you have the sideburns, and then about the lip, at the cheek area, it starts to broaden. That's the place where it starts to broaden that we're talking about. He said, the rochav upon him. And for this it says, it goes up to the upper head, which is the upper beginning. Shalapen, in other words, the upper lip, the hind safal, that's the upper lip. So it extends, once the beard starts broadening out, to the level of the upper lip. Maybe that's not the extension. I think I said that wrong. I said that that's the location. He means to say that's the location of where the sixth Tikun begins. But over here it doesn't really say where exactly is the place where this broadening of the beard starts to grow, which is at the end of the first Tikun. Where does the first Tikun end, and where does the sixth Tikun begin? Right at the same place. So we'll see what that is. Gemokain lo bir heichon hu makom siun smichas za'aros. So it doesn't say exactly where it is, the place where the hairs end, milamala lamata, if you look at it going downwards. So I said that a little bit wrong, and it says gemokain lo bir heichon. It doesn't explain where hu makom siun smichas za'aros milamala lamata. It doesn't talk about exactly where it ends if you look at it vertically. All it talked about is where it begins. Where it begins is where it broadens, but where does it end doesn't say that. We're going to have a note on that in a minute. The Hainu, Shemaskil Mekaneged Rosha Elyon Shalapeh, that it begins corresponding to the upper lip of the mouth. Omistayim Lamada Ad Keneged Rosha Tachnon Shalapeh, which would be the lower lip. Now he's going to have some notes on that. We want to go over and look now at number Yud Aleph. Yud Aleph has a little note on it. We're going to bring this camera down so we can see it really, really easily. Small print for guys with good glasses. I'm getting new glasses, hopefully. So he said, "V'chein nira b'yafasha shabir kam v'zel l'shono chafi tachruv de busma the reish de la'elo." It covers over a place called the busma, the tachruv de busma, up until the upper lip. Da. So he explains what? Well, the reish de la'elo, which we're refining as the upper lip. Da ki halachaim ne'kroim tachruv de busma. Know this. That's their name. That's what the cheeks are called. But tachruv de busma. Malashon l'chayim ka'arugas abosim. That goes together with that pasuk. His cheeks, like patches of plots of sweet incense. And where is that? That's the place where the beard starts to grow wide. Tachas Tikun, the region that is underneath, or tachas, right underneath the first Tikun, which is the sideburns. The pen, it continues until it gets opposite the mouth, Adkan. That it's mentioning over here only the concept of the growing of the hairs in a broad way, sideways. The hind miyam and the small, that is from to the right to the left. Below hiskir macham smichus saros the Erich, but doesn't really talk about the length of it as you're going downwards. The hainu milamala lamata, that is from the top to the bottom. So let's go over here and let's see if we can read a little bit more. We'll pull our camera back again a little bit. Get it focused. Okay. So let me see how I can get that on the page. Okay, so he says, but all of this is explained in the words of the Idra Rabbah. So he says these words are mistaken sa'ara, so the construction of the hair. The salik, it goes up, the nafik, it goes out, but it goes milarad la'elo. It goes from the bottom to the top. The resha de puma, that is, it reaches until it gets to the beginning of the upper lip, and it covers over that area which is the patch of sweet incense, which is called the lip, where it starts to broaden out. It ends there. Ad resha de puma de alelo, so it somehow extends. And then he says that's where it starts, or let's see, v'nachis sa'ara the resha de piska de orcha de puma. V'nachis means it goes down, the hairs. The resha de piska de orcha at the beginning of the opening of the orcha tata, which means the lower lip, down below the lip, is where the fifth tikun is located, the puma adkan. So this is a little different. So v'chein hu be'idra rabbah, that same idea you see in the idra rabbah, l'cholon sham. V'nizbar ba'orak b'farsha b'mitfar shecha be'idra rabbah sham al pi harizal. Ninkok, let's specify b'kitzar what we're talking about. Let's fix this. V'hu sheyesh be'idra rabbah sham beis hosafos ikrios v'heim. So there are two different ideas here that we're really the root of what we're trying to say, and it's been wobbling around a little bit. Let's pin it down. He said b'salek v'nafik, that phrase again. It goes up, it goes out. Milara la'elo. So I guess it's la'elo, whatever it is, that's la'elo. It goes from the bottom to the top. Kolosha sa'aras tikun the shishi ol of the malach is chaver im hatikun harishon, and it goes up to join itself together with the first tikun. Ve'ena yored v'yotza l'mata b'makom siyum chamisha tikunim, but it doesn't go downwards like it's supposed to. V'lo yotza l'mata b'makom siyum chamisha tikunim hakodmi, just the way everything else flowed on the beard from the first tikkun down to the second tikkun and the third tikkun and the fourth tikkun through the fifth tikkun are all one below the next in a vertical fashion. But this one, Ella yotze milamata lamala, it does the opposite. It goes from the bottom to the top. The height of the achasha yotze tikkun the chamishi, lamata ba'urach shebesafa tachtona, oz yotze tikkun the shishi, then you have the sixth come out. V'tzameach lamala, and it starts growing up upwards. But macham siyum tikkun the rishon is the place where it ultimately reaches the place of the first tikkun. Number base, that's one thing that we know about it. So it's very interesting was that the beard, you look at your own beard, and he's saying that at a certain point in your beard, which is starting, he's saying it's starting at where your beard broadens, and now he's indicating that it goes down below the lower lips, perhaps. He says it's actually growing upwards. It's growing up going up from the place where the fifth stopped, which is below the lower lip, and it's going up to connect itself to the first tikkun, which is the sideburns, which is where the beard starts to broaden out. So he said the number base. That says something slightly different. Let's see how it works. He says v'nachiv sa'ara the resha the piska the orcha the ta the puma. So he said goes down. He says the hair to the resha of the opening, the orcha to ta the puma on the lower lip. That's the orcha to ta. There's a path which is the fifth tikkun, is a path that runs down from the mouth down the middle. Kolomer la'acha shabir seder his pashas tikkun the shishi l'rochav. That is, he said how it goes back sideways. Behind the miyam in the small, it goes from the right to the left. We said it's breadth. Before Ato say that his pashas tikkun the shishi lamata, but let's look at it in the vertical sense now. V'amar Reb Sha'aras tikkun the shishi yordin and mispashtin lamata, they go down, they spread downwards. Ad rosh pesach elyon, until it reaches the place of the upper lip. Excuse me, a rosh pesach elyon the orcha tachtonis. In other words, the tip, the top part of the lower lip shall appan. The haina ad rosh elyon shall the safa tachtona, until you get to the upper, the top of the lower lip. Shuhu keneged b'makom haschalus orach hatachtona. This is where the lower path actually starts. That's where it reaches to. So we get a little vertical idea there. It's a little bit complicated. Let's see. We have a beer here. We have a number Yud Gimel. Let me see if I can get it down lower and focused. Okay, so let's look at number Yud Gimel just real quickly. Yud Gimel said in the Rab, it says la'achasha yatsa tikkun nechamishi l'mata ba'orach shebesafa tachtain. In other words, it's in the pathway that's down below the lower lip. It starts there. Az yatsa tikkun hashishi. So from the end of the fifth tikkun starts the sixth tikkun. V'nimsal v'tzomeach. Excuse me. And it starts growing lamala upwards. B'makom siyum tikkun the rishon, until it reaches the sideburns, which is where the first tikkun stops. So let's look over here, because we have some arichas over here, and a little bit here, a little bit there. I think this is number Yud Gimel, a little bit more focus on the subject. So he says, I could bring it lower even than that. Let's see now. There, but focused. So he says, Reba Ruach David, Ala Idri Rabba, Hashem Arizal, Bezel Lashon, Vesila Venafe Milarol La'elo. So it goes up, goes out, going from the bottom to the top, Ifachapi, Ad Resha de Puma. So that's the phrase that we have in the Aramaic. So his Perusha says Zera Bechatikun Nashishi, because the explanation is this. this sixth Tikun. It should be going down below. It should start continuing going downwards. In other words, it's a path underneath in the middle of the lower lip. It should be continuing on in that direction. Below the davar came, but it really wasn't like that. Let me find the place here. This where are we? This sixth tikun, olam emata lamala, it actually grows upwards. V'hu kofeds madregas rabos, it actually skips several different madregos, that is the fifth and the fourth and the third and the second. A rabos mischaber imatikun rishon, and it makes a keeper with the first tikun. V'hu called rocha v'lechi, and that's on the whole width of the cheek. This is what it means when they're going from the bottom to the top. It's funny that it doesn't go downwards, instead it goes up. We see also in that Sefer. All of these people, that it goes up. And this order is not like all the other tikkun. So anything, as you look at the face which has a beard on it. So he says, so if you look at its relationship on the face, so in other words, whatever comes first is going to be, of the 13, is going to be on a higher level or a lower level, depending on where it is. What you mean? Whatever comes second is going to be on a lower level. It's going to keep going downwards. But this one, even though it's a sixth tikun and normally it should be right underneath the fifth, that should be underneath the fifth tikun. So let me see if I can find the place here. He says, okay, here it is. So he says, but even so, it goes up from the bottom to the top, the Resha, the Puma, until it reaches the place of the beginning. I think it was the upper lip, which is where the beard starts to broaden out. Umechuber in sof tikun the rishon, and it joins together with the first tikun. So the sixth joins together with the first. Now, if I had in mind right now, the second, which I could find it, I guess, is that the names of the juice that is inside of the hair. So to understand that, to remember that the hairs of the beard of Erich Anpin are tubes. And the idea of the 13 tikkunim is to refine those and limit them down to the light of the Ein Sof into something which is more physical. That's Hismatus, the ore of the Ein Sof. So let's go on and let's see a little bit more. I could bring us back up again. And let me see, maybe we don't need to be so up. So here we are on number Yud Daled. Now Yud Daled went on a different idea. They wanted to talk about the extent to when it reaches in its vertical aspect, I think. It says like this, we'll start with the Orach HaTachton Shalapel. Let's look underneath that path that we talked about, is the fifth tikun. The Haina Ad Rosh Ha'elyon Shal the Safa Tachtana, that is the top of the lower lip. Shehu Keneged B'makom Haschalas Ha'orech HaTachton, which is opposite. This is where it begins, I guess he means to say. Opposite the end, Haschalas Ha'orech HaTachton, where the lower. So let's read again. Shehu Keneged B'makom Haschalas Ha'orech HaTachton, which is at the opposite place where the lower path begins. So what you have here is the flow of light that's coming off of the face and the beard of Erich, and the beard of Erich Anpin going downwards until it reaches the sixth tikun. And the sixth tikun makes a reversal in order to hook up with the first. Now you have the first tikun and the sixth tikun. Exactly how that works, I'm not sure. Now there's a little bit of Yud Daled that maybe we'll be able to do now. And let me take a drink because I'm getting dry and finish this up. Says like this. Rabbi Emes the Yaakov Sham. Oops, it's coming out here. So this is several paragraphs. We're going to do one today, and we're going to go back over it tomorrow. He said, Reba emes the Yaakov Sham V'zel L'Shonu, V'nachis Sa'ara the Resha the Piska the Orcha the Toa the Puma. Now we got to get used to this phrase. The Resha the Piska means the upper lip, the upper side of the lip. The Orcha the Toa the Puma, which is the lower path, which is the fifth Tikun, underneath the lip. Pirish Yorid Seir Shal Zeh HaTikun. So what comes out is it goes down the hairs of this Tikun, that is the sixth one, Ad Rosh HaOrach HaTachton. So he's telling us the length, that is its vertical length. Sheyesh B'Saf HaTachtoina, which is on the lower lip. Ad Keneged the Orach HaNizkor, until it reaches this path that we mentioned before, Ad Sham Nimshach Tikun Avav. So that's the definition of where the Tikun Avav gets to. I'm not sure that I got it out of this. So he says, Ad Kan. Now it sounds like it from we say the place where the beard broadens down to the beginning of the path of the fifth Tikun underneath the lip, the lower lip. Ad Kan. V'chein Chu B'yayin the Rekach Anal. V'zal L'shon V'sofa B'bistayim Ad Keneged Haschalas Ha'orcha Sheb'Sofa Tachtoina. Again, the words are V'sofa, its end. Where does it end? Mistayim Ad Keneged, opposite Haschalas Ha'orcha, of the beginning of that path, which is the fifth Tikun. Underneath that Sheb'Sofa Tachtona. That's where it extends to. Ad Kan. V'chein Rabbi Yochai, we'll see over that. Allah Idra Rabbi, he said, Ad Resha de Puma de La'elo, Shuhu al Rosh Safa el Yoina. Misham v'nachis Ara the Resha, and from there the hairs go downwards. The Pisca, the Orcha, the Toa, to the beginning, Pisca, the opening of the lower path, which is the beginning of that, the Puma no, Yordim Asa'aros, and this he's telling you how the length of this is, Ad Safa Tachtoina, until you reach the lower lip. The name is called Eila Hasa'ara Shebein Resha de Safa Al Yona, that all of those lights are in the place between the beginning of the upper lip, Ad Resha Orcha de Toa de Puma, until it reaches the lower lip. Kol Uvi HaPeh, all the width of the mouth is included. Upesicha Sepeh, the opening of the mouth, HaKol Hu B'Klal Tikun Zeh HaShishi, is all part of the area of the Tikun, of the sixth Tikun. Now just imagine your own face. Now we did have already a Tikun. The second Tikun is on the upper lip, and then it goes around like that. This is included in all of that area, is from the upper lip down to the beginning of the lower lip, which is the pathway. There's a pathway down there. That's where the number 6 starts. And it goes upwards towards the upper lip, which is where the place of the second Tikun. But it's not on the mouth side, it's really on the side, surrounding. It's a surrounding type of Tikun. So that's it, what we have for today. This is Baruch Fleischman, Tikun Elevator Kolo. Thanks for listening.